Ben, thanks for joining me here in Copenhagen today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You have your formal background in journalism, but is probably best known for posting cat pictures to the internet.
That's right. Yeah.
And of course, being a successful CEO and founder of Cheezburger.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and with all its related sites and apps, of course. You've just given a talk called Entrepreneurship with a Purpose.
Yeah.
So what do you think all these marketing professionals can learn from entrepreneurs?
So I think there's a real interesting phenomenon called lean startup, which is the idea that you can take an idea, execute it quickly, learn from it, and then add to it. And I think media is the perfect ground because it's completely digital that you can iterate very, very quickly.
What do you mean exactly by the term entrepreneurship with a purpose? Yeah.
So the idea is that you're not just doing something to make money, you're not doing something to get a promotion. The idea is that you match why you are on this planet, the things that you're passionate about, with the idea that you can create products and services for a customer.
Okay, and how do you get people to do that?
Yeah. So you have to accept that you have a very limited amount of time on this planet. So how are you going to use the rest of your life or the rest of your productive life, and what will you be proud of when you are done? So if you can't figure out how to be proud of your work that you're doing, then it's time for a change.
Yeah, and do you think this purpose could be the same as a mission statement? We always talk about that in business, right?
Yeah, so what's funny is that a lot of people have corporate mission statements, right? And whether they believe it or not, they have it. If you ask a person, what is their mission statement? You usually don't get an answer. We don't think about ourselves in that way. We have no idea why we're on this planet other than to live a good life, I guess. But that's usually not enough. People want something more aspirational than that.
Yeah, but I think if you are an executive, how do you get people behind the company purpose if you follow?
Yeah. For an executive to get people to follow, they have to embody the culture of the company. They have to actually be the person that is in the leadership that people are willing to follow personally as well as professionally. You have to live the things that you say. If you say that your company has integrity, then you better well show integrity. If you say that your company is behind innovation, then you better be willing to embrace failure and the idea of letting people create innovative things.
Yeah, so as I hear you, we should maybe put leadership apart and have followership replace it all, or what?
Yeah, I mean, the nomenclature, I think, changes from time to time, but the idea here is that the company is honest about who they are, the things that they're doing, and how they're doing it, and those things are in alignment. That the left hand and the right hand actually are working together in concert, that everybody knows why they go to work every day.
Great. And if I want to turn my team or my company in an entrepreneurial direction, what should be my first step? What should be the first thing I should do?
Great question. You have to reduce the cost of failure. Innovation is all about finding what works in the market. So naturally, you will find lots of things that don't work in the market. And if it takes a year to take something to market, then the cost of failure is really high. If you actually spend very little time, but work on little ideas and see if they work and gain the measurement to know if they're working or not, then that reduces the cost of failure. You have to reduce the amount of time it takes to try out an idea.
Try to give me an example of how you minimize the cost.
So we at Cheezburger started out and we would launch a new website every 2 months. So that means in a year you run 6 experiments. I asked my team to launch a new website every 2 weeks. That's 26 experiments in a year. That radically changed our business.
And how did that work out?
So what happened is that they asked me, well, it takes 2 months because we have to do all this work. And I said, what if you didn't? What if you didn't have to put the company branding on it? What if you didn't have to do all the same things? How could you lean this down so that you could launch a new website every 2 weeks? In fact, at the end, they ended up beating the goal. That's what made our company, is that we were able to launch a new website as quickly as a little as 2 days.
Okay, when I researched you, the common denominator, of course, was humor.
Yeah.
Why do you find this concept, humor, to be so important, not just in your personal life, but also in regards to business and marketing and these kind of things?
We live in an age where through social media, people are more human. Brands have to be more human, so are human beings. We want to connect with one another. You want companies that act like your friend. Humor is the element that is missing from a lot of corporations and brands, is that your friends are there to make you happy, not just to tell you about what's right or wrong. They're there to actually make you laugh, and brands are missing that. And we thought that that would be a really good starting point because social media is such a good distributor of humorous content.
And what do you think are the biggest barriers for actively using humor in business?
Businesses take themselves way too seriously.
Okay, so it's about being more
Being
self-aware,
Right. Being self-aware, being personal, understanding that you make mistakes. And what happens to a lot of businesses is that when they make errors, it's not the error that kills them, it's the fact that they don't acknowledge it, and they don't apologize, and they don't fix it.
So you were talking a lot about this concept of embracing your failures.
Yeah.
And would that be your top advice for every company, or how important is this concept?
They have to understand that failures and successes go hand in hand, that they have to be willing to try new things. So for example, I'm flying around the world with this drone. I've never done videos, I've never produced videos before, but you know what? I've had some pretty spectacular, bang my head moments with this thing in my backpack, but to be honest, I'm learning and I'm failing, but I'm also creating some amazing stuff, and I'm happy to do it.
That's so cool. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
Have a nice day and enjoy Copenhagen.
Will do.